Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a fly on the wall in the Knowles-Carter household? Well, today we're going to take you behind the scenes of a jaw-dropping incident that has the internet buzzing. What happens when one of the most powerful music artists in the world discovers his daughter in a compromising situation? Brace yourselves, because the details of this story are nothing short of scandalous. It was a typical evening in the Knowles-Carter mansion. Superstar rapper Drake had been invited over for a casual get-together with his close friend Jay-Z and his family. As the sun began to set over the sprawling estate, the two music moguls settled into the plush living room, sipping on expensive cognac and reminiscing about their rise to the top of the industry. Suddenly, the sound of laughter and giggles echoed down the hallway, interrupting their conversation. Curious, the two men turned their attention towards the commotion. That's when they heard it, the unmistakable sound of intimate activity coming from upstairs. Jay-Z's eyes widened in shock as he recognized the voices. "Is that?" he began, but before he could finish his sentence, the bedroom door flew open and out stumbled a disheveled young woman, none other than Jay-Z and Beyoncé's 11-year-old daughter Blue Ivy. Drake felt his blood boil as he watched the scene unfold. Blue Ivy's clothes were rumpled, her hair tousled, and a telltale blush crept across her cheeks. And right behind her, emerging from the bedroom, was a young man, one of Blue's classmates by the looks of it. "What the hell is going on here?" Drake roared, his voice echoing through the hallway. The young man froze, his face draining of color as he realized he'd been caught red-handed. Blue Ivy, on the other hand, seemed unfazed, even defiant, as she stared down the two powerful men. Jay-Z, usually the picture of composure, was visibly shaken. "Blue Ivy, what is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "And you, young man, I think it's time for you to leave. Now." The boy needed no further encouragement. He scurried down the stairs and out the front door, leaving Blue Ivy to face the wrath of her father and his friend. But Blue Ivy was not one to back down easily. She squared her shoulders and met Drake's furious gaze head-on. "What's the big deal?" she snapped. "I'm not a little kid anymore. I can do what I want." Drake felt his temper flare. "The big deal," he sputtered. "You're 11 years old, Blue. What were you thinking bringing some boy up here and... He couldn't even bring himself to finish the sentence, the mere thought of it making his skin crawl. Jay-Z stepped forward, placing a hand on Drake's shoulder in a futile attempt to calm him. "Blue, you need to understand the gravity of what you've done," he said sternly. "This kind of behavior is completely unacceptable. You're putting yourself in a very dangerous situation." But Blue Ivy was having none of it. "Oh please," she scoffed, rolling her eyes. "You two act like you've never done anything like this before. I'm just trying to live my life, and you're both overreacting." That was the final straw for Drake. His face contorted with rage as he advanced towards Blue Ivy, his fists clenched at his sides. "Overreacting," he spat. "You think I'm overreacting? This is my house, Blue Ivy, and you're disrespecting me and your father in the worst way possible." Jay-Z quickly stepped between the two, holding Drake back. "Easy man, easy," he murmured, casting a worried glance at his daughter. "Let's all just take a deep breath and talk this through." But Drake was having none of it. "Talk it through," he shouted. "There's nothing to talk about. That little punk was defiling my goddaughter in my own home, and you want me to just talk it through?" Blue Ivy, unfazed by Drake's outburst, simply shrugged. "It's not like I'm the first person to ever have sex, Drake," she said coolly. "You need to chill out and mind your own business." Those words were like a match to a powder keg. Drake's face contorted with rage, and before anyone could react, he had lunged forward, grabbing Blue Ivy by the arm. "That's it, you little brat," he roared. "You're going to your room, and you're not coming out until you learn some respect." Blue Ivy let out a startled yelp as Drake dragged her towards the stairs, but Jay-Z quickly stepped in, placing a restraining hand on Drake's shoulder. "Hold on, man," he said, his voice low and urgent. "Let's not do anything we might regret. This is my daughter, remember." Drake paused, his chest heaving, and for a moment it seemed like he might back down. But then he shook his head, his eyes narrowing. "I don't care whose daughter she is," he growled. "She's disrespecting me in my own house, and I'm not going to stand for it." With that, he continued to haul Blue Ivy up the stairs, ignoring her protests and the desperate pleas from Jay-Z to let her go. The sound of a door slamming echoed through the mansion, leaving Jay-Z standing alone in the hallway, his face a mask of worry and concern. In the days that followed, the fallout from the incident was nothing short of explosive. Word quickly spread through the tight-knit world of celebrity, and soon the story was the talk of the town. Paparazzi swarmed the Knowles-Carter estate, desperate for a glimpse of the drama unfolding behind closed doors. Beyoncé, who had been away on a business trip, rushed home the moment she heard the news. Her reaction was swift and uncompromising. She immediately fired off a scathing statement, condemning Drake's actions and defending her daughter's right to privacy and autonomy. "As a mother, I am deeply disturbed by the way my daughter was treated in her own home," the statement read. Blue Ivy is a young woman who deserves to be respected, not manhandled and humiliated in front of her peers. Drake's behavior was completely unacceptable, and we will be taking appropriate legal action to ensure that this never happens again. The backlash against Drake was swift and merciless. Fans and critics alike took to social media, lambasting the rapper for his abusive and misogynistic behavior towards a minor. Many called for him to be cancelled, while others demanded that he issue a public apology. But Drake was having none of it. In a fiery interview, he defiantly stood his ground, insisting that he had done nothing wrong. "Look, I'm not going to apologize for protecting my goddaughter," he said, his jaw set in a stubborn line. "That little punk was taking advantage of her, and I wasn't about to stand by and let that happen. Blue Ivy is like a daughter to me, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let some hormonal teenager defile her in my own house." He went on to accuse Jay-Z and Beyoncé of being negligent parents, arguing that they should have been more vigilant in monitoring their daughter's activities. "They're so busy running their empire that they've forgotten what's really important," he spat. "Blue Ivy is a child, for God's sake, and she needs to be protected, not left to her own devices." The interview only served to further inflame the situation, with many accusing Drake of being a misogynist and a bully. But the rapper remained unapologetic, doubling down on his stance and vowing to continue to look out for Blue Ivy, even if it meant butting heads with her own parents. As the scandal continued to dominate the headlines, the tension between the Knowles-Carter and Drake camps only seemed to escalate. Beyoncé and Jay-Z refused to back down, with the former even going so far as to release a scathing diss track aimed directly at Drake. In the song, Beyoncé unleashed a barrage of scathing lyrics, accusing Drake of being a misogynistic pig and a power-hungry control freak. She also hinted at the possibility of legal action, warning Drake that he had better watch his back. Drake, for his part, responded with a series of angry tweets, in which he accused Beyoncé of being jealous and threatened by his close relationship with Blue Ivy. He also threatened to release a tell-all book that would expose the truth about the Knowles-Carter family. The feud quickly spilled over into the music industry, with other artists taking sides and weighing in on the controversy. Some rallied behind Drake, praising him for standing up for what's right, while others condemned him for his abusive and controlling behavior. As the weeks turned into months, the tension only seemed to escalate, with both sides refusing to back down. Rumors of a potential lawsuit swirled, and the media frenzy only seemed to intensify. Then, just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get any more volatile, a shocking development occurred. Blue Ivy, who had remained largely silent throughout the ordeal, suddenly spoke out, siding with Drake and accusing her own parents of being overbearing and controlling. In a scathing interview, the young woman lambasted Beyoncé and Jay-Z for their hypocritical stance, arguing that they were more concerned with protecting their image than with her well-being. "They're always talking about empowering women, but when it comes to me, they're just as patriarchal and controlling as anyone else," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Drake may have overreacted, but at least he was trying to protect me. My parents just want to sweep this whole thing under the rug and pretend it never happened." The revelation sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, with many questioning the Knowles-Carter's parenting skills and wondering if Blue Ivy's accusations were indeed true. In the end, the fallout from the incident proved to be too much for all involved.